Hey everyone, welcome to my first episode of Knitting Like a Cavewoman. My name is Miriam. Welcome. So I've been wanting to do this for a while, but what's been scaring me is I live in the United States. I live in southern Illinois, down at the bottom of Illinois, where it's pretty close to Tennessee and Kentucky and Missouri. Now, the issues that I have is I live in farmland. My house is surrounded by thousands of acres of farmland. And around my area is a lot of Amish. And so the Amish doesn't care about the internet connection or getting a tower. So we are suffering really badly for really good internet connection. And I've been told in my lifetime that we're probably not going to get it. So, it's a love-hate kind of relationship. I mean, I like the tranquil, easy lifestyle of living in the country, but I feel that our area, we're just falling behind because technology is just advancing and everybody is advancing in technology, but there's just a whole bunch of us that are suffering. And so for a lot of you that are probably wondering about Elon Musk has his I can't remember, Starlink, I think it is. There's a lot of people in this area that have it, but there's still a lot of problems with it, and people still say they get dropped and they can never finish watching a movie. And so my husband and I, we just haven't gone there yet. We're like, one more thing to give us stress about. So this is going to be a knitting YouTube channel. And I wanted to kind of give you an idea of why I named this channel Knitting Like a Cavewoman, is because I kind of think in my entire life, I have done a lot of things like a cavewoman. So I never seem to follow a recipe when I'm cooking stuff. I just kind of just wing it, and I'm always telling my husband, hey, what would a cave woman do? She'd just go in the refrigerator and she didn't have a refrigerator back then, but I just kind of throw stuff together. And I also make sourdough bread, and I kind of make my sourdough bread the same way. Sometimes I work it all day. Sometimes I work it a half a day. Sometimes I just work it for a few hours and, call it a day. It's and then, I mean, come on, look at this hair. Is this hair not like a cave woman? So anyways, I just thought the title, Knitting Like a Cave Woman, kind of fits me. So wanted to talk about what I'm wearing. I'm wearing a linen tank top that I drafted myself. And I bought the yarn from Lion Brand website, which has 100% linen that they carry on a cone. And I'm gonna get into that on another episode, because my main focus pretty much for this channel is probably gonna be about linen, because I absolutely cannot get enough of linen and knitting with linen. And I've even been known to grow flax and turn it into linen. And I've also been known to grow cotton and spin that fiber and make stuff out of that. So pretty much my love is cotton, but I truly love linens, and I love color work. Those are my two passions. Now, that's not to say that there's going to be other shenanigans going on, because there will be shenanigans, because I have a lot of other interests, like working in my garden, flowers. I just recently saw a crochet pattern that I am very interested in making, and I don't even crochet, but I think I might be adding on crochet to my list of hobbies. So I wanted to use this episode today to kind of talk about how I got here to this knitting part of my life, because there has definitely been a journey, and I wanted to kind of share that little story with you guys. So I remember exactly, I was 10 years old. I was playing with one of my girlfriends, and I would go to her house and play over at her house, and her mom was a knitter. And my girlfriend, my little friend at the time, she had no interest in knitting, or probably being like hanging out with her mom. But her mom ended up showing me how to cast on a couple stitches, and her mom gave me a set of little wooden needles, and I ended up knitting a belt. And then after that, I ended up not doing anything with knitting, because my little friend, she had like no interest in. I think she was kind of like not all happy that was like hanging out with her mom. So then when I got into high school, I had knitting again as a class, and then I knit a couple things, and then when we got into the 80s, beadwork became like the real big thing. There was just bead, magazines everywhere, and stores were just stocking, Hobby Lobby was coming in, Michael's, all these stores were popping up. People were selling beads, and I don't know, I just like fell down the rabbit hole of beadwork. And I kind of was thinking to myself that beadwork was a lot like knitting. That's how I saw beadwork. Because knitting, you've got your knitting and crocheting. Knitting, you got your two needles, and you're knitting, or crochet, you've got the one. Well, beadwork is basically, you've got your thread, which would be the yarn for knitting, and you've got this teeny weeny little needle. So it's really just, I thought it was just knitting on the most finest of, finest threads that you could ever imagine to knit with. That's like how I visualized it. And so I think because I visualized it like that, I think that's why I was able to grow in beadwork and advance in beadwork into different things, because I was visualizing it like a knitter. So I'm going to show you some things that I'm talking about. So when I first started, I came up with these little necklaces where I took a bead, a wooden bead, and I just wove these little tiny seed beads around the wooden bead. And I was so excited that I was able to figure out how to weave that, because just like knitting, you are increasing and increasing to get to the fattest part of the bead, and then you're decreasing. So I'm looking at this little tiny bead kind of like a body. That's how I'm visualizing it. So then I started making these earrings, and I started looking for the main bead to be like a strange kind of a shape. So I found this one solid bead all these little beads are woven around a larger bead. And these are a little pair of earrings, and they're just like an odd, unusual shape. And once again, I just was playing with little tiny beads. Can I go on to larger beads? So this was just really exciting to me to just, figure all of this out. And then I eventually went to just necklaces, just full beaded beads, necklaces where I was even beading the whole clasp. The whole clasp is just all woven with just these tiny little beads. And I just love these big statement necklaces that I was making. Then after a while, I kind of was like, there were like galleries that were having like museum shows, galleries and museums. And I started noticing that there was like a call, just like when you're on Instagram and there's like knitters looking for, designers looking for somebody to do like a test, for their scarf or their shawl. Well, there was galleries that were looking for artists to, if they were having a certain show. So I thought, I wonder if I could apply to some of these and get in. So I found at that time, I was starting to bead some little sculptural objects. And I was always on a mission looking for little things, little small objects. And I came across these little children's spinning tops. And I thought, okay, well, how cool is that? So then I just kind of took off and I started beading these little children's toys because they were just a perfect little size now, to kind of do one of these. Now, obviously, this is not something that you're going to just whip up in like 5 or 10 minutes. I mean, some of these things would take months to bead. But then just the perfect show in Little Rock, Arkansas. This was like, I think in like 2009. Little Rock, Arkansas, the Museum of the Arkansas Art Center came up with this whole show on toys. And obviously these are not toys that children are going to play with. These are just toys that, for art purposes. So I decided that I was going to apply. I was going to apply for the show. And lo and behold, I got in. And then I went into like a complete panic because I was like, oh no, like I was just like, I'm like nobody. I don't even know what I'm doing. But I got into the show, and then I ended up getting into the show for like 4 years straight. And I was just like really, really proud of myself. And the whole show is on a series of toys. And it just really pushed me to just expand, try to push myself to just be the best that I could be with my beadwork, which I was still always visualizing kind of like knitting. So here's some little planning or some little toys. This is a garden tool, and I believe it says we planted a seed. And I was so proud of myself that I started figuring out how to weave in words with my beadwork. So I did this little toolkit. I'm just going to show you a few of these because I have just a lot of stuff that I've ended up doing museum shows. This was a yo-yo. And this one was very, very challenging because I had to figure out how I was going to weave this flat and just spiral it out and then come inside the yo-yo and do this decreasing, this like hardcore decreasing. And then the little rope is all clear seed beads. So that's the yo-yo. And then This one is another one that has words. Very excited. This is a rolling pin, and it says food for the soul. And that's all completely woven with little tiny glass seed beads. And then I'll show you just one more. And this is a child's little, like a little pop gun. Like it has a little, a little cork on the end. It's a little toy. That's all. It's all beaded. So, so anyways, this was my journey for quite a long time. And then I eventually, just as I'm in my 60s now, and as I've gotten older, my eyesight kind of just started getting stressed out from doing all of this really, really fine weaving. And I've kind of decided to kind of go back to knitting. And so now I'm thinking about my knits kind of in a way where I used to think about all of this kind of weaving, and just, I think because there's so many new yarns on the market now that it's just really got my creative juices flowing. And I just bought some beautiful new glitter yarns just this weekend at Woolen Company in Elgin, Illinois. And I think it's really, really sparked something in me where yeah, you'll have to keep watching to see where that goes. But I have a lot of ideas on what I'm gonna be doing with that. So I hope I'm gonna be your cup of tea to watch, and that maybe you might be interested. I hope maybe if anything I can, I will, you know, inspire you to, you know, do some stuff that's not, you know, in your comfort zone. So anyways, I think I'm gonna sign off. I think before I do, I think I'm gonna play you a little banjo tune, because I play clawhammer banjo, and I love clawhammer banjo, and I thought maybe I'll just I'll end my little segments with a little banjo tune, and so you could either tune this out or stay for the music. So I'm gonna play an old traditional tune. Oh gosh, right now I can't even think of the name of the tune. It'll come to me. Oh, this is called Hello Stranger. This is an old traditional tune. Put your loving hand in mine, hello stranger. of mine. I see you when you haven't got a dime. Weep like a willow, you be mourning like a dove. Weep like a willow, oh, you be mourning like a dove. There's a man in the country that I really love. Hello, stranger, put your loving hand in mine. Hello, stranger, oh, put your loving hand in mine. You're a stranger, you're a friend of mine. You're a stranger, you're a friend of mine. All right, thanks for watching.